One of the biggest mistakes we make is believing that comparison is a sign of insecurity. That is truly only the surface level of looking at the problem. We compare ourselves to others because it is a natural human behavior that helps us understand where we fit in socially and what we're capable of. And in healthy situations, the self-awareness that comparison creates can help guide personal growth and deeper understanding of ourselves. However, it becomes harmful when social pressure, especially from social media, where we're always online, we're always watching, we're always being watched, pushes us to compare our real everyday lives to the carefully edited highlights of other people's lives. So you end up comparing yourself to incomplete information because you see the parts of their life and not the full picture. You see their wins, but not their failures. You see their confidence, but not their doubt. You see results, but not the process that got them there. And because of this limited view, your brain then fills in the blanks. And almost always, it assumes that you're behind. So you start to believe that everyone else is doing better, moving faster, and getting further. And just like that, you end up in a quiet competition with someone who may not even know you exist. When we constantly measure ourselves against the success, happiness, appearance, or lifestyle that we see in others, it then leads to envy, low self-esteem, and overall dissatisfaction. And the crazy thing about how comparison works is, should you decide to finally show up for what you want and you closely watch your competition, it feels like you're staying motivated, but really you end up just chasing goals or desires that were never yours to begin with. And the longer that you allow this comparison to lead your life, the more disconnected you feel from the woman that you were always meant to be. So hey, hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cherrelle, and on this channel we're all about bridging the gap between who we are and who we are becoming through identity-based personal development. Take a second to subscribe. In today's video, we're going to break down why comparison really happens, what's going on behind it, and how to finally shift the focus back to yourself. From a young age, people are taught to look at others to see if they're doing something right. This could mean being praised in school, getting attention at home, or even being told to behave like someone else. So that type of feedback slowly shapes the habit of measuring personal value against what other people are doing. And over time, this becomes a pattern that feels normal, even when it leads to frustration. So as we grow and become more exposed to the way other people show up and live their lives, sometimes seeing someone do something well is what sparks the idea that you could do it too. And this gives direction and shows what's possible. So watching someone else speak clearly or building something from scratch can definitely motivate you to improve a skill set or to try something new. But this only works when the focus stays on learning and not questioning your personal worth. With social media, comparison is no longer limited to the people that you know. You can now see updates from hundreds and thousands of people every day. Achievements, milestones, perfect angles, perfect lifestyles. Over time, it creates the illusion that everyone else is always doing well, moving forward, or living without struggle. When those images are seen often, it becomes harder to separate what's real from what's presented. So people start to measure their progress by what they see other people sharing. Struggles start to feel heavier when no one else seems to have them. Slow seasons feel like failure when everyone else appears to be thriving. And this habit creates pressure to match what looks good, even if it has nothing to do with your own personal goals. So this also starts to shift individual identity. When self-worth is tied to how other people react to what gains attention online, attention replaces intention. Instead of building around personal values, people begin to just copy what seems to work for others. And over time, this leads to, again, the disconnect between the woman who you are and the woman that you desire to be. So letting go of this trap means putting your attention towards growth that matters to you, not growth that just looks good from the outside. This is how confidence is built without needing to compare. So the thing about creating content, sharing your life, giving tips online like this, it's not about being perfect. It's about trial and error. People share what they've tried, what has helped them and what didn't. They're not saying I have the perfect skin, the perfect life, do this and you will too. They're offering insight and another way to look at a problem that you may be dealing with. If someone is giving skincare tips and all you can focus on is that their skin isn't perfect, that's not really a them issue, it's really a you issue. You assume that their followers, views, filters, or makeup meant that they were flawless, perfect, no mistakes. Or even on a larger scale, well, she is better than me, which is a self-worth issue, and we'll get into more of those kind of topics in the month of February. But let's take a second to really talk about something that I just saw on TikTok the other day. So I'm not going to say the creator's name, but if you know, you know. She is a content creator who's been on YouTube since like 2013, and she is often seen as the it girl for many Black millennial women. For years, she has shared the highlights of her life. So hair, fashion, makeup, dating, business. I mean, she really is that girl, and I don't give everybody that label. But now that she's in a different stage of her life and she's been opening up about dealing with like mental health, physical health, and money issues, like real everyday things that everyday people deal with. Since she has opened up, a lot of women in her comments have become very opinionated. Not bullying exactly, but definitely more critical and more judgmental than I think you should ever be about anybody, especially about people that you don't even know online. And I think this is happening because she was placed on a pedestal for so long that people forgot that she too is human. So when she opened up and shared her struggles, the perfect image that people had built in their minds about her then fell apart. And instead of offering her grace, they have just been picking her apart. So what I saw in the comments were people acting like they've been lied to for so many years. And it's like, no, you haven't been fooled. You have just been quietly comparing yourself to her. And now that her life no longer fits your expectation of her, you're using it as a chance to tear her down. For years, without her even knowing you existed, you let her success make you feel small because she has the resources, the community, or the status that you maybe want. And for some people, it's even deeper than envy. Again, self-worth. You don't believe that you're worthy of reaching the level that she has, so it's easier for you to criticize her than to confront your own belief. And excuse me, I did just go off for a second and I didn't hold anybody's hand. And I'm not talking about everyone, but if the shoe fits, especially if you're on this channel, especially if you're watching my videos, do better, sister. So as we move into the tips, this isn't just about posting online. It applies to any space that you want to be in. If you've ever felt jealous or envious of another woman doing what you want to do, as proven, comparison is human nature. Feelings happen. I get it. But I'm going to walk you through how to stop comparing yourself to other women and finally focus on your own lane. So many people move through life believing that success is limited. This belief becomes clear in moments when someone else is chosen for something that you wanted, a job, a promotion, an opportunity, a guy, if you will, which is really weird, by the way. It feels like their win is a reminder of everything that you're still working towards. This belief leads to thoughts of being behind or forgotten. It can make the timing of your life feel unfair and progress just feel like so out of reach. So when you truly do believe that success is rare, then every win around you feels like less is available. And this is where comparison grows strongest. Releasing this belief changes how progress is viewed. One person moving forward does not block another path for you. When this truth is accepted, confidence becomes more stable. Focus can then return to what skills need improvement, what ideas need development, and what steps can come next. And y'all, this shift is really necessary when you're building a personal brand. Anytime you step into something new, whether if it's showing up online or applying to speak at a conference or really just putting yourself out there in any kind of way that you've never done before, you have to let go of the idea that you will reach a certain level by a certain time just because someone else did. Your journey will not look like theirs, and it's not supposed to. When you're in a building season, your focus shouldn't be keeping up. It should be on asking, how can I show up in a way that feels true to me? How can I show up in a way that reflects my values, not just what's popular or what's already working for someone else? That's how a personal brand actually stands out. So let's talk about envy. It often starts with a quick thought or feeling that someone has figured something out that you haven't. It can happen when you see someone speak with confidence, run a business with clarity, or just have the kind of flexibility and respect that you desire to work towards. So that feeling itself is not the problem. What makes it painful is not knowing how to get there or thinking that maybe you can't. So if you didn't know, I am a full-time MBA student. I am focused on business analysis, and one thing that we study often is the power of data. So we're taught to not react to the first thing that we see. Surface level symptoms rarely tell the full story. You are required to go deeper and to ask questions and to look for patterns that sit underneath the obvious. So the goal is not to just solve what's in front of you, but to fix the real issue that's holding things back. So that same approach definitely applies to personal growth. Envy is data. It points to something worth looking at more closely. When that feeling comes up, the first step is to slow down and figure out exactly what triggered it. Not the person, not their life, but the detail that struck a nerve. Maybe it was the way that they are welcome and embraced by others. Maybe it's their consistency or the level of attention that they receive that you're not receiving. Whatever it is, naming that detail gives the feeling direction. It turns an emotional reaction into a clear signal. So instead of staying in comparison, there's now a target. There's now a way to grow. So when this is used with intention, envy again can become a guide, not just a reminder of the things that you're missing, but a real tool to figure out what to do next. There is a big difference between moving in pressure and moving in purpose. When things feel like something you have to do just to keep up, you start to resent doing those things. And every step is then taken out of fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of going broke, fear of being overlooked. And that pressure makes it hard to enjoy what you're doing, and it leads to frustration and burnout. So you start measuring your success by how much you're doing and not how well connected you are to the work. You might even start copying what other women are doing, thinking that if it works for them, then it will work for you. But when it doesn't feel true to who you are, it becomes harder to stay consistent, and this is where comparison will grow. So shifting out of that mindset changes everything. Decisions start coming from a place that feels more honest. Creating becomes less about doing what's expected and doing more about what actually feels good to you. And every decision begins to reflect real interest, not fear. So instead of trying to compete with what other people are doing, the focus shifts to building something personal that brings you joy. And this is what makes a personal brand feel natural and believable. So a brand becomes strong when it reflects who you really are and not just what's popular or trending. When you make choices that feel right to you, people can tell. The way that you show up, the values that you stand on, and the consistency in your work really does speak for you. This is also why I question the idea that everyone needs to niche down. I've talked about this on this channel before. I'll link it here in case you want to catch up on it. But so I talk about personal growth and building a personal brand, but I don't limit myself to one narrow topic. Life is not lived in a box. Therefore, the things that we struggle with, heal from, and grow through all shape who we are becoming. In a space where other creators often focus on surface level glow up tips, I knew I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to talk about identity, growth, and real inner work that shapes the woman that you're becoming, and not just pretending or performing or putting on a costume, but actually doing the real work to become the woman that I desire to be and inviting others to do the same. And this is how a personal brand stands out and it lasts. And over time, comparison will definitely start to fade because you no longer feel like you're competing. There's less pressure to move faster or do more just to keep up. You really allow yourself to shift out of that survival mode and give your progress the space it needs to grow without rushing it. Okay, so self-worth is the way that you see yourself and the role that you believe you play in your own life. It is the picture you hold of who you are, what you deserve, and what you believe you're capable of. This picture is built over time through experiences, habits, and the way that you talk to yourself. So if you see yourself as someone who is capable and allowed to try new things, your behavior will begin to match this belief. When you change your self-concept, you change how you move through the world. You stop asking yourself if you're good enough and start acting as if growth is a part of your process, because it is. You reinforce a new identity through consistent action, and over time, that new self-image becomes your normal. So changing your self-concept means choosing the identity you want and practicing it daily. You apply for the job you actually want, even when you assume someone else might be more qualified. You create the content you feel called to make, even if your space is not perfect or your equipment feels basic. You walk into the gym with your head held up, even if you feel out of place. So each action sends a message to yourself that you are allowed to take up space and to try new things. The woman that you want to be in the next 5 years is definitely shaped by what you choose to do today. So each time you move in alignment with her values and goals, your belief in yourself grows stronger. The woman that you desire to become does not rush or compare her path to anyone else. Her confidence comes from knowing that she shows up for herself consistently. Each small promise kept becomes the foundation for the life that she's building. So discouragement grows when you stop trusting yourself. This often starts when you set goals that feel feel too heavy, or when you say you'll do something but you don't follow through. Each time that happens, your confidence takes a quiet hit. You begin to doubt your ability to stay consistent, and that doubt then turns into frustration. When trust in yourself becomes weaker, it becomes easier to look outside of yourself for validation or direction. Self-trust is rebuilt in small, clear ways. It starts with making simple promises that you can keep, then honoring them. This can look like completing one task for a project that you've planned, showing up for a routine that you keep talking about, or taking one step towards something you really care about. When you follow through, even in the smallest ways, you prove to yourself that your word matters. And this kind of proof really does build your confidence. So over time, you stop watching what other women are doing, since you are now focused on your own actions and progress. In a recent video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it here, I talked about the value of creating a passion project for yourself, something that belongs to you. It's not tied to income, or maybe it is. It's not tied to anyone else's feedback. It's just something that you really care about. And so these projects are important because they give your time and attention a place to go. They keep you focused on what you're building. That might be improving your health, growing a platform, or learning a new skill. What matters is not the result, it is the commitment. The more often you return to that project, the stronger your focus becomes. The more in general that you focus on your vision, your passions, your purpose, the less space there is to question someone else's. So usually on this channel, I do my best not to make every topic and conversation about me, but I do want to end this video with a little story time. So growing up, I never really compared myself to other girls. I was very focused on what I had going on. I cheered in school. I was really involved in church, my family, my friends. I had a little boyfriend. Like, I was locked in on me. But the first time I saw what comparison could do was when someone that I considered a friend admitted that she quietly compared parts of my life to hers. At the time, I really didn't understand how she was able to deeply internalize our differences between school and church. She knew things about me, but she didn't fully know everything. And so therefore, the act of comparing our lives led her to believe that I had it easier, that I didn't understand struggle. And what hurt most about this was knowing how much my family tried to support hers, even with our own issues. So we remained friends into college, but I saw how that comparison shifted into jealousy, and it eventually led to betrayal. So I share this story to remind you that unchecked comparison can really damage more than just your self-esteem. It can damage relationships, your character, and purpose. And this is why this conversation matters. When women focus more on what other people have than what they're building, you lose your peace, and sometimes you lose yourself. But when you start focusing on yourself and the cards that you've been dealt with, you can then figure out how to make what you already have work for you. And I also want to remind you that your value is not measured by your appearance, your follower count, your income, or your relationship status. Your worth is measured by the fact that you exist, by your character, by how you treat people, by the values you live by, even when no one is watching. And most importantly, knowing and living like you deserve the best for yourself. So let this be the season where you stop performing to keep up with the it girls, the that girls, the glow up queens, and you really just focus on becoming the woman that you desire to be. You're not behind, you're not late, you are exactly where you need to be. And I am so proud of you for accepting this somewhat harsh truth, and for watching this video all the way through and making the decision to move forward with your goals and your dreams this year. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, when you're ready to become the woman that you desire to be, there are resources linked down below this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you in my next upload.